Hello and welcome to The Insecure Chef. I'm here with Regina as always. Quick story. About a week or two ago, we went out to lunch with a couple of friends of ours. It was an Italian restaurant. And the appetizer that my friend ordered was the long, hot Italian peppers in a nice oil and garlic and tomato sauce. Very delicious. If you've ever had them, you've seen them. If you look down here, you'll see what I'm talking about. There they are in the raw state right there. He had them as an appetizer, and there was a little left over, and he took them home, and I suggested to him, I said, you know, maybe you should use that as, cut them up a little bit and use it as a sauce over pasta. He thought it was a good idea, and so do I. So with that in mind, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make those peppers, and I am going to use them as a sauce. I'll be making it with a light white sauce, if you will. We'll be putting that over spaghetti. So that's what we're going to start with. So these are the Italian long hot peppers. As you see here, I have 3 of them here. And initially what we're going to do is we're going to roast these until they're all blistered. Now it'll take a good 25-30 minutes. All I have to do is heat the oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit, which is what we're at. And I'm going to give these a little splash here. A little of that going on there like that. And then I'm just going to rub it up like that. Nothing exceptionally fancy. Just that way there. All right, let me just take the oil off my hands. And like I said, I'm going to stick these now in a preheated oven. This is 425, and I'm going to roast those for about 25 to 30 minutes. The goal is to get them nice and blistered. Probably off camera, what I'll do about halfway through that time, I'll probably turn them, but not a big deal. So with that said, I'll put them in the oven. And I'm going to set the timer for, I'm going to set it for 30 minutes, but we'll be keeping an eye on it. All right. There we go. Okay, so that's it started. Right now what I'm going to do is put 2 of the ingredients in here are shallots and garlic. So I'm just going to prep that real fast and get that started. So hon, while I'm doing all this,
yes,
why don't you tell them all the interesting things that you do?
I think you're funny.
Tell them how you're the head of the political civics committee in 3 states, and that how you got your doctor's degree in.
You're very funny.
Hey,
how about I'm retired?
How about the fact that we're both retired?
That's right.
So I'm just going to slice this up just a little bit like so. Trying not to take my fingers off like that. And we're just going to chop that out nice and small. Oh, I think I'll lift a little piece of skin on that. Put that over there. Yeah, we're just going to get this nice. I just used a good size chunk of garlic. Actually, that was 2 cloves. They were not that big, so because I wanted 1 big clove, so I've used 2. Again, garlic choice is up to you, but this is really the heart of this sauce. If you will. It's really just a shallots and garlic with olive oil and spices. And the mystery ingredient in here, you'll see that momentarily. Yeah, okay. And you can chop this as fine as you like. If you don't like to mess with garlic yourself, you can always get a jar of minced garlic if you like, but I don't find this to be much of a problem to do by hand. All right. Anyway, I'll get to the mystery ingredient. I don't know why I'm calling it that. But, all right, just going to move this over to the side right now, like that. And now we're going to we'll work on the shallot. That going. All right. Get that away from here, like so. All right. And that we'll do. We'll just cut this in half here, like that. All right. We don't need that much of it. So what we're going to do now is I'm simply going to get the rest of the skin off of here. And some people, will take the skin off by actually boiling the shallot. I don't know if it's worth all that effort. Usually if I fight with it quickly enough, I'll get it off. I'm sure folks watching right now will say, I got better ways of doing that, but that's fine. There we go. Take that off there. Take that like that. Get the rest of that skin. Okay. that's off there. I'm just going to put a careful slice this way, like so. There we are. Okay, and now I'm just going to cut it down here like this. Alright, looking okay. And then I'm just going to mince it up a little bit, like so. And we don't need much, about a tablespoon or two, so that's more than enough for this recipe. And then you got your garlic and your shallots done at that point. So, all right, I believe the peppers should be done by now. We're going to take them out. Yeah, they're looking really good. As you can see there, they've been cooking for about a half hour. I'm going to place it there. Shut everything down here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this. Okay, I'm going to cover this. We're going to allow those to essentially steam for about 10 minutes. All right, there we go. So we're just going to let them steam for about 10 minutes. All right, 10 minutes have ended here. We're going to move this over to here. I'm going to take this off. What we did there is just allow that to steam a little bit, just to really get them even softer. All right. Try to remember that dish is hot. I will burn myself. So I'm going to try to pull these guys out of here. We're going to throw them on here, like so. All right, that's good. Let's get this dish out of the way. All right, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to I'm going to get rid of the heads and the tails here. Get rid of that. Like so. Get rid of him. Like that. We'll get rid of the ends here. Because what we want everything to be very soft and spicy. One more here. And believe me, this is more than enough peppers for this dish. Like that. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to either dice that up or put them in strips. I'm not sure which way I want to go. What would you do, babe? Even though
dice.
You can't eat it.
Dice them up.
You want dice?
Yeah.
All right, let's see what we can do. Yeah, I'm just gonna move this over here. And I'm not gonna make this into a big deal. Again, this is unfortunately solely just for me.
I don't think I would have eaten it anyway. That's too hot.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny. The Italian peppers, yeah, they're spicy, but in the world of hot peppers, they don't reign anywhere near the top 50. That's for sure. But they do certainly have a nice flavor. And when they get roasted like that, it infuses it in the oil, and of course that's going to be the heart of the sauce as well. Like
Did
that.
you start the pasta water?
Oh yeah, thank you for reminding me. Let me start the pasta water here. What would I do without you? And you know, again, I'm looking at the quantities of peppers here. If you're making this dish and you say, well, you know, I don't want that many, or I want more, and you'd have to make more. But if you think there's just too many, you use what you want. That's the beauty of this kind of a dish. Nobody's right or wrong in making it. Quantities and how hot or how spicy, that's pretty much up to you. So I'll see what I want to put in, if I want to use all of it or not. Okay. All right. What do you think, hon?
Looks good.
No, it doesn't. Not to you.
Oh, no, but...
All right. Okay, so those are... There they are there. Now, you saw where they came out just before I started cutting them. That's how they were served at the restaurant as the appetizer. But we didn't get to the last part. I mentioned it earlier. I said, you know, for the mystery, not that it's a mystery, but this will be the added bonus to it. These are the cherry tomatoes, which I've cut in half. Here, and again, quantities, as always, are on the channel. And this will be the heart of what we're making, essentially. It's going to be the roasted hot long peppers with those cherry tomatoes. mixed in with the garlics and the shallots and the various spices and the olive oil, binding it all together. That essentially is what we're going to be dealing with here. Okay? All right, let's get the our saucepan or going here. I'm going to do this on medium-low heat. Okay, and I'm going to be heating up about 5 teaspoons of olive oil. Okay, that'll be 3, and it should be about 5. All right, I'm going to keep this on medium heat. Remember that we are working with olive oil, so you don't want to get things too hot, because as you know, it will smoke. So we're going to let that heat up just a bit. Now the water is boiling here in the pasta. You should get ready for that. And I'm going to throw the pasta in. I'm using spaghetti. You can use whatever you like. Okay. And we have our gizmo here, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm going to stick a timer on here. I'm going to give it 10 minutes. And we're letting this olive oil heat up a little bit. And now what we're going to start by sauteing the shallots. You know, they'll take about a minute or two to get a little translucent enough. And then the garlic will go right in behind it. And then from there, we'll be working on the tomatoes and the spices and create the sauce on this end. Okay? So that heat up just a bit. All right, how are we doing here? All right, we're getting there. I don't want to burn this thing. All right, I'm going to throw in the shallots. Just the shallots right now. Like that. And the garlic will come shortly. We're just going to give the shallots just a couple of minutes to soften up. All right, those shallots have just been cooking for about 2 minutes. Again, you just want to get them a little translucent and lighten up. And now we're going to put in the garlic. Like that, we're going to give that a stir. Now that's not going to take long at all. I'm going to give that maybe 30, 45 seconds at most. I was just saying to Regina, it's amazing the smells, at least to me, it smells like a much more complicated food being cooked. And all it was shallots, browning, and olive oil. Give that about another 10 seconds. Now we're going to be following this up with the cherry tomatoes, which I've cut in half, as you can see there. Once again, all the quantities are on the channel. Now the tomatoes we're going to be cooking probably for about 5 minutes. We're going to try to get them nice and soft, okay? So we're going to be throwing that in now. Like so. And we're going to be stirring this around and keeping an eye on it. Okay, as you see, I covered it. I figured that would be an even better way to soften up those tomatoes. Now, they've been cooking for about 2 minutes. I'm going to be adding some tomato paste. Not too much. Again, measurements are there. Going to stir that in. And again, I said we're going to do this for about 5 minutes, so we're more than halfway through that 5 minutes. All right, as you can see, the pasta is done. I've just isolated that for the moment, and we're heading back here to our pan. The tomatoes now are nice and soft, so I'm going to be putting back in now the roasted peppers. All right, and we talked about how much to put in. I'm going for it. All right, that's gone in there like so. All right, we're going to give this a little stir. Right now I'm working on medium-low heat. Not very high at all. Okay, we're good. All right, we'll let that get going there. And now I'm going to be adding our spices. I'm going to be going with some oregano. Again, the quantities are on the channel. A little oregano. And now we're going with a little thyme. Like that. And now a little salt and pepper. And a little crushed black pepper. Like so. Now it depends, you know, depending how wacky you are. An optional addition to this would be little ground hot peppers. But I'm going to let that slide for today because otherwise my wife will be looking at me like I'm completely insane. All right. There we go. All right, to that I'm going to be adding a teaspoon of white wine vinegar. Careful, Al, don't spill too much in there. Beautiful. Teaspoon of white wine vinegar. And I'm going to put in about 3 tablespoons or so. This is a matter of personal taste, how thick we want it. You could use leftover pasta water, you could use just water, or you could use vegetable broth. That's what I'm going with. I'm going to put in about 3 tablespoons of vegetable broth. Again, your choice of what you want to use. I'll let that stir around there a little bit. And we're going to just let this simmer for a couple of minutes. All right, it's just simmered, you know, for a few minutes. I'm going to put our pasta in right now that we've cooked. And put that right in there like so. All right, we're going to give that a good mix. If you're watching, Joe, what do you think? You think you'd enjoy this? I'm not quite done yet. Now we'll get that mixed up nice. Now to that, I'm just going to add a pat of butter. You could also just use some cheese if you like. This just add a richness to it. I'll let that disappear into that. And now, if you decided you wanted to be a little moister, a little more juice to it, you can certainly add more of the broth, more of the pasta water, whatever you want to do to thin it out if you like. I'm looking at this, I'm thinking this is probably good for me. All right, what I'm going to do right now is I'm just going to add a little lemon zest to this, just to brighten it up a bit. There we are, like that. I think that's good. It's just a little brightness too. The citrus will always do that. And then I'm going to, we'll plate this. I guess we should move over there.
Okay.
Let me get my plate, and then I'm going to finish it off. All right, maybe you can go around if you like. Which side? Usually behind me, aren't
Yeah.
you?
No, I just wanted to get out of your way.
You're never in my way, sweetheart.
Oh.
Like so. Okay. And then I'm just going to garnish the entire thing here. This is just a little mixture of parsley and basil. Just going to finish it off here. Like that. And of course, again, if you want cheese, whatever. I just enjoy this one for some reason without the cheese. Don't know why. What do you think, hon?
Oh, it looks beautiful. Colorful.
What else are you going to say on camera? You going to tell me it doesn't look good?
Smells good.
All right. Let's see if I can give this thing a taste. Oh, it's hot. I'm scared. Very hot. Here we go. Oh, that's really good. Now again, people talk about hot. Honest to God, it's spicy, but it's not like you're dealing with your habaneros or your whatevers. This is very, very good. In fact, if I can grab one now. Definitely. I'm pleased with that dish. That came out well. So, from the Insecure Chef and his wonderful wife, Regina,
Have a great dinner.
thank you very much. Hello again to my friends. If you guys are watching, this is the recipe. Joe, give it a shot. Take care. Thank you again.